is this idea that, you know, these divine hierarchies are very organic, and that we can and should make analogies between how the cells of our body relate to our own, like, more or less centralized consciousness, and the way that we as human beings might relate as cells in some larger body. He draws on this German scientist and philosopher Gustav Fechner,
Mhm.
who he died in the late 1800s or early 1900s, and he had this view of like the Earth as a kind of angel, or we would say like Gaia nowadays, like, and that we as human beings are cells in that body. And um, I've I once had this image of the cells that compose our body as like, for us to continue to be alive and have a more or less coherent consciousness, all the cells, or at least critical mass of cells in our body, need to continue to worship that deity, which is us, and perform the rituals of all the different. Each cell type has its own ritual performance
Mhm.
that maintains our organism.
Mhm.
And you know, you could say that in some sense, the cells of our body are enacting a polytheistic religion, because like the liver cells need to do their liver thing and the heart cells need to do their heart thing, and like there are prescribed roles, and like each cell type needs to stay attuned to its local deity in a way, right? But then there's also this larger sense of our whole bodies and our coherent identity as a conscious being that all of these cell types are participating in. And maybe like each different cell type has an envoy, or like someone they send to this a centralized place to communicate. I mean, the immune system plays some function like that to maintain the coherence.
Mhm.
And so basically, our I am the monotheistic religion of my cellular community,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
cells have to continue to worship in order for me to continue to be who and what I am. And those bioelectric fields are like, that's the mythos. That's the story that maintains that cohesion. And so that analogy, I think, is the key for, I think, understanding our human relationship to higher consciousnesses than ourselves. Like, you know, just as each of our cells has its own locus of sentience, you know, each of us has our individuality, and that's perfectly real, but we're also participating in these larger bodies. And like the earth as a living community may as well be a deity to us. So we're utterly dependent on the functioning of Gaia. And to the extent that we lose track of that, we end up destroying the environmental conditions for our own continuance, which is what we're doing. And so, like,
Yeah.
we
And
need a
part
new
of that
story.
is because that tendency to blast all the way to the top, to be like, oh, our deeper feeling is the creator of the whole thing. We just bypass who knows
Exactly.
how many layers of like divine authority
Right.
on the
Right.
way there. And but you know, it also when you're messing with the frequencies of these electrical exchanges,